Thank you very much. Thank you, Ron. That's as unexpected and expected as we expected. Thanks to the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. This is, I think, as the other inductees know, is very overwhelming. We're very lucky to do what we do, and we do it because we're part of a community, but also because we have so many people in our lives that support us. I want to thank my wife, Rena, for years and years of being by my side and supporting me and coming to every concert. Every time we do a concert or every time I play her a record, I'm just still surprised by her enthusiasm. I think, really, after 40 years? That's amazing. I want to thank my kids, Devin, Emma, and Sam, who do the same, who bring their partners and come to our shows, all beautiful musicians. I want to thank my mother. My mother used to, when we started in Blue Rodeo and we had a song on the radio, she used to write the request line on her blackboard. She was a teacher at Monarch Park, and make her students phone in to request try. And she has come to every concert, including this summer at the amphitheater, and she is 97. So it's pretty amazing. We are super supported by Susan DeCartier. Is somebody that when we lost our first manager, I said to Susan, they don't seem like geniuses. I think we can do this. And she said, we can. And that night she stole all the files from the office and took them home. And that was the smartest thing she could have done. Susan, Jude, Kay, Danelle, Midas and Poe, the dogs, who are very important too. Thank you very much for so much support, so much creativity. We've been with Warner Music since the beginning, and we've been through many presidents, many changes of the guard. We have had every record company experience you can imagine. We can talk about that later. But every time somebody we're so fond of leaves, we're just sad, and then we think, what's the new people going to be like? Well, the new people now, Kristen and all the gang are fantastic, and we're just lucky. I don't know if we'll make it through another president, but we've gone 4, that's enough. Our songs would not be songs presentable to people unless we had the bandmates that we have. We have been so lucky. You know, Basil Donovan was somebody we met right away. Basil Donovan and Cleve Anderson were the two rhythm section that as soon as we had a rehearsal, we knew that this was going to work. Added Bobby Wiseman. Glenn, Colin I've collaborated with so much. Michael Boguski, Joel, Steve, and Annie from my solo band, all the former members. That's what makes it work. And all the people who listen. I think that Greg and I had a long time where nobody listened, and we were okay. We were okay with that. But it's a lot better to have people listen. And they've been listening now for 40 years, and we just couldn't thank them enough for all the support they give us. It's an incredible listening to all the musicians up here, this beautiful band, and all the people that are interpreting these songs. I was amazing. I've never heard Try done better than I. I might change the end like he did. But it reminds me that we are very, very gratefully part of a community of people that just mind their imagination to make their living, and it's an amazing thing. And lastly, even though I'm taking more of Greg's time, I want to thank my partner, Greg Keelor, because Greg picked me up in university in 1978, and I told him I was going to take a year and just do music, and he said, well, why don't we get a band? And we've had a band since that car ride in 1978, continuously till now. He's an amazing, inspiring partner. He's a challenging partner, as everybody who knows him knows. Hey, my turn. But he prods and he pushes and he inspires, and he's very unique, and he always wanted to go his own way, and it's been a huge motor in our band to be unique and to be a unique songwriter, to listen to what he's written and write some companion piece. So I thank him, I love you all. Thank you very much.
So they gave us 2 minutes, and this is my speech. But just a few pages from it. It's not the whole thing. So, but just on the evening, just so blown away by Sarah McLachlan singing her own songs, but then to sing Dark Angel like that is just an incredible thing. I once said way back when that when I die, I want Sarah McLachlan to sing at my grave, so I think I will die in my seat tonight and everything we do. So here we are, two high school buddies who met on a football field, and we're standing before you tonight on this stage. I want to just recognize the great influence that Jim has been in my life. And I remember the first time I heard Jim sing. It was in grade 11, and a friend of ours, David Soper, a very good friend, had died in a car crash. And after the funeral, a group of us went back to Mrs. Cuddy's house. And Jim sat down at the piano, and he sang a song for David. And I didn't know he played an instrument. It was like, you know. And he broke our hearts, and he comforted us at the same time. And that's sort of what Jim's voice is. You know, it breaks your heart, but it gives you a comfortable place to be that. And you know the song's going to be over in 3 minutes, so it's, you know, tolerable. I wouldn't want to live like that. Maybe I do live like that. I remember when Jim bought his first guitar. It was a black Ibanez, I don't know. And, you know, it sort of initiated in me the desire to play guitar. And I spent the winter of '75 in Lake Louise working at the Chateau, and my roommate had a guitar. And I taught myself how to play with the chord boxes on a Gordon Lightfoot songbook. And I left Lake Louise and I went to work on a Great Lakes freighter, the R. Bruce Angus. And the first day off, we were docked at Trois-Rivières, and I went into town and I bought a guitar. And I knew nothing about guitars at this point. I didn't know a Fender from a Martin, from a Gretsch, from a Gibson. I knew absolutely nothing. But on the wall, there was a white Ibanez guitar. And I thought, well, that's perfect. I'll have the white one, and Jim will have the black one, and, you know, things will just work out fine. I brought it back to the boat, and on that first night, with my guitar, I wrote a song. And it blew my mind. I was ecstatic. I'd never been involved in anything like that before. It was my real Paul to Damascus moment. And I sat down at my little desk in the room, and I wrote this little manifesto to myself. And I said, what I have to do with my life is surround my people who create. And I had to follow whatever what the inspiration was, and just live that life. And I knew it then. You know, it was just like, that epiphany set the course of my life. And in '78, so that was '75, and by '78 we had a band, the Hi-Fis, and that was a punky pop thing, where we wrote all the songs to fuel the engine of that band. We played bars and that sort of stuff. And by '81, we moved to New York, and that was our great musical education. That's where we absorbed so much music, and that's where we started listening to country music. And New York really changed our songwriting. It really matured us as songwriters and gave us the ability to write songs on our own, which up to that point we wrote sort of knee to knee, Lennon McCartney style. I remember the day or night that we worked out the harmonies to There's a Place, the Beatles song. We were Beatle freaks, right? And so we worked out the harmonies to There's a Place, and I know that I was just like in a suspended awe of that we could do it. You know, I was just like, oh my God. And I'm going to get a little fanciful here, but I like to think that somewhere high in the Tower of Song, an ancient dispenser of graces heard our little effort and thought, hey, they're not bad. And in that moment, a whole catalog catalog of songs were bestowed upon us, and they would be revealed to us as our lives and careers unfolded. And it's funny that we get credit for these songs, right? And you know, we accept the credit. But the songs come through us, and we accept the awards, and we accept the money. But basically, we're all sort of imposters, you know? And because the songs really, truly just sort of come through us. I would like to thank my darling wife, Cuddy Keelor, who's almost as funny as Jim Cuddy. I'd like to thank Jim Cuddy and his family, and especially Mrs. Cuddy. Everyone at Starfish, Sue, Jude, and Danielle. Everyone at Warner Canada for 40 years of collaboration. I know Dave Tollington's in here tonight, and I know Steve Kane is in here tonight. So that's very nice. I'm just looking down at Denise, and I'd just like to thank you, Denise, because you've been such a great part of our career. And of course, the band, Basil, Glenn, Jimmy, Colin, Bagoo, Cleve Anderson, Bobby Wiseman, James Gray, Kim, Mark, and Bob. So it's a humbling honor. Oh yeah, give it up for the band. There's still more to come, and your mind will change. It's a humbling honor to gather here with so many friends, so many colleagues, to celebrate these songs. And with a grateful heart, I say thank you all very much.